Welcome to Everyday People Chat, a platform to discuss how we can use permaculture to support our mental health. Now, this week's episode is a rather special one. I am in absolute awe of our guest and what they have shared with us, being very open about their story and their experience of their journey and what led them to poor mental health, and the process towards their coping mechanisms and towards better mental health. So I would just like to warn you that you may find some of the subject matter rather upsetting or traumatic. So please protect yourself before watching this episode. And without further ado, let's chat. Hi, welcome to another permaculture and mental health everyday people chat. I have someone with me who's willing to share their experiences. So without further ado, I would like to introduce.
Hi, my name's Josh. I'm 25 years old, and I have a few little part-time jobs that I do, and I'm working on a few little side projects as well. So I've got a lot going on, but yeah, hopefully all leading to good things.
Okay, thanks. So that's how you prefer to be called, Josh? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Josh. Well, thank you, Josh, for sharing with me and everybody today. It's really appreciated. So I wonder, could you just tell me a little bit about your experiences of mental health and any struggles you may have had, or if you've supported people with it at all, if if that's okay.
Okay, yeah. So I've struggled with poor mental health for most of my life. When it all really started when I was 8 years old. I was attacked in a park, and I was raped, and that's had a long lasting effect on my life for my entire life. I've had low self esteem. I've had suicidal thoughts. I'd self harmed for quite a long time, and it happened quite young. So I went into secondary school and sort of didn't really fit in because I was the quiet, weird kid. And so I got bullied at school, which also really did not help with the self-esteem and the negative mental health. So my teenage years, I learned how to hide my emotions, and so on the outside, I could seem quite happy and quite like a normal teenager, really. But on the inside, I was really angry and anxious, and life was a nightmare, basically. So that's when I started self-harming. I had to find a way to deal with the worthlessness I was feeling inside. Because naturally I'd been robbed of my innocence, and then going online and discovering all sorts of things online. It was through comedy videos actually that I learned what self-harm was, and then started doing it. I just wanted to escape everything, and for a little while I found that escape in cooking. So I'm a fully trained chef. I went to college after school to train to be a chef, and that began like a really good period of my life. For a little bit, I had lots of friends. I was going to a youth group as well at the time, and I was doing something that I loved doing. And at this youth group, I met a girl and started going out with her. So for a 16, 17-year-old, life was everything that it could be. Life was great. And then the year after that, so this would be 2016, everything took a sharp plummet. So a bunch of things started going wrong, but the most important ones really are that my girlfriend at the time left me for someone that we both worked with in just a rubbish job that I hated, and it made me hate myself as well. And there was one other thing. Yeah, and I'd left college at that point, so I was sort of separated from most of my friends, um, and I'd always in self harming, I'd always thought about what it would be like to end my own life. Um, it was it was a thought that came up quite a lot. But one night it became a very real thought. I'd finished work uh, at 3 a.m. And normally someone from work could give me a lift home, but this one night no one could. So I walked 3 miles home, um, and I got home. I was exhausted, and I couldn't carry it on anymore. Um, and so I went to go and take my own life. Um, and it was at this moment that I had my first spiritual experience. Um, I had I heard in my head a verse from the Bible, which is Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And this sort of blew my mind because before that, I was an atheist, complete, like no spiritual experiences, nothing outside of what we can see and prove. But I had this experience, and I had no way of explaining it in myself. And so I sort of wrestled with that for a little while. And then I was invited to go to the youth group that I went to. They have a camp in Scotland, so I was invited to go there. And it was there that really everything came together. I was taken away from all of my rubbish experiences at home. I was taken away from that rubbish job with my ex-girlfriend and the person she left me for. I was taken away from all of the stress and anxiety of everything, and I was taken to this beautiful place in the middle of nowhere. It was the most like calm and serene part of my life at that point. It was strange because I felt like I could think clearer up there. I felt like we live such like rushed lives down here, and up there it was like nothing was going on. And this is where I started to learn a bit more about Christianity, because it was a Christian youth group. And they told me about what Jesus had done for us, what the Bible says that Jesus had done for us. And like it's all can be neatly summed up in one verse from the Bible, which is John chapter 3, verse 16, which says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but will have eternal life." The moment that it all clicked for me, and it all made sense, was after having heard all of these things. I was sitting on a bench. So the campsite, sorry, I forgot to mention this. The campsite is built around a lake. Again, it's in the middle of nowhere. And I remember this one particular moment. I'm sitting on this bench, and the water is calm and quiet and still. And I could just hear the bird song in the air, and I could feel the sun on my face. And it was the first time really that I felt okay. I felt like I wasn't worthless, that I wasn't a machine, that that my sole purpose was to work and get money. And it was at that point as well that it clicked for me that that I have a soul, that I'm not just flesh and bone. There's more to me, and that there was a God, and he loved me, and he loved me in spite of all of my mess ups and mistakes and how messy I felt, and he was going to stay with me no matter what. And so that was when I decided to become a Christian. And it's been 7 years since all of that happened, it's not like everything just magically got better. I still struggle with depression. Sometimes I still struggle with anxiety, but through reading and learning, I've learned how to handle both of those things, when they come. I know now from the Bible that I am. There's a concept in Christianity where we are made in the image of God. So I have innate value in me, even if I don't feel it. And so I follow a good God who I can go for a walk and pray to whenever and wherever about whatever. I read a good book which shows me dozens of examples of broken and messed up people who God loves and uses for great things. I'm in a wonderful, loving community of equally messy people like me who accept me for who I am and want to help me grow, which is the church. And my life is full of purpose and meaning, even if I don't always feel it. This year has been sort of the biggest growth of my life so far outside of that, because I sort of realised that all of this is great, but I'm still dealing with things from my childhood. I'd very much been like, the way that I've sort of started describing it to people is that I've been trying to walk on two broken legs. And so this year, I felt that I was supposed to deal with this. So I spoke to my pastor at my church about it, and he made me step down from all of my volunteering roles and everything just to focus on this. I started seeing a counsellor, and so we've been sort of working through a lot of the things from my past, and also a lot of the unhealthy coping mechanisms that I developed to deal with all of these thoughts and feelings. And so I've spent the year doing that. Stepping down from everything was hard at first, but it was definitely necessary, and I'm in a much better place because of it. That sort of leads me sort of neatly to today, where I'm able to have the confidence and the ability to sit here and share my story in the hopes that it might help someone else. So that's my history of mental health.
Wow. Firstly, Josh, thank you so much for sharing such a profound story of your experiences and your struggles, and being very open about it. Even down to the journey of what happened to you, how you went through a process of the suicidal thoughts, and then you discovered Christianity, and to where you are today. It's a very, very inspiring story, so thank you very much for that. And yes, you've combined quite a few other questions, which is great, and I think your story is, like I said, it's very inspiring, and I can see the strength and the resilience within you, and that you said you stepped down from your volunteering roles to actually focus on that and build that resilience even more. And so actually to be here today seems to fit into that jigsaw quite well, doesn't it? The jigsaw puzzle quite well. Yeah. So you said that you read. You read certain books, and you as I say, you stepped down from the volunteering to help you sort of focus on it. Are there any other particular techniques or tools that you use that are really on top of what you do, as well as your beliefs, that really sort of help you on a day-to-day basis? I know you said you've still got the anxiety and the depression, but that's easier now. Yeah. Are there any other specific things that you would like to sort of share with us that could be helpful?
Yeah. So in terms of tools and techniques, I think an obvious one as a Christian is I like to pray. I find just taking a few minutes to sit down in a quiet place and talk to my Heavenly Father, it does wonders. It helps so much. And outside of that, when I can feel like more like practical things, I can feel, whenever I feel like I'm being overwhelmed by anxiety, through counselling I've learned some breathing techniques. So there's the 4-7-8 breathing technique, which is where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, and then for 7 seconds, sorry, and then breathe out for 8 seconds. And I also learned square breathing, which is where you find a square and then you breathe as you trace the square. So you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Obviously, you do it slower than that. And then other than that, so I mentioned about as I've read the Bible, I've learned that I'm a valuable human being. My value isn't based on what I do. It's not based on how I feel. It's based on who I am. And so that's been that's been really crucial to being able to turn the tide on my depression. I know that I've repeated it a few times, but my value isn't based on how I'm feeling or what I'm doing or who I'm with even. My value is it is just within me. It's intrinsic. It can't be taken from me. My value is as an image bearer of God, my value is invaluable. So
thank you, and some great techniques there, and especially the breathing techniques as well. And the first one you said, the 4, the 7, and the 8. I very much use that one as well. That's yes. I think that's a reasonably easy one to do anywhere, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
That's right. I always find with breathing, I was talking to my counselor this. I sort of mentioned earlier that we live such fast lives nowadays, and it's remarkable how easy it is to forget to just breathe. So having those resources is so useful. It's so helpful. And then it's just a case of reminding yourself, oh hey, I need to sit down and collect myself for a second. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Those breathing techniques are invaluable.
Absolutely, and you're right. I think we do forget to breathe, and that might sound silly to some people listening to us chatting here, but it is a very fast-paced world. Mm-hmm. We forget about that there's more to us who we are and to the world around us, and that there is something even deeper and more spiritual, really. I think with that. So. I think it's important to remember to breathe, because then you can really concentrate your focus on the here and the now and bringing yourself back to the present. So thank you for that. Thank you. Some really valuable techniques.
Okay.
So one of the other things that I would really like to do when I'm talking about mental health with people and inviting them to sort of share their experiences, and as I do, is I'm really keen to, so there's a spiritual side of it and your beliefs as a Christian. I'm really keen to see how the benefits of being outside can help people as well.
Yeah.
So I wonder, do you have any experiences or connections where simply just being out in the outdoor environment has been a benefit to you at all?
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned, my whole journey my process of recovery really started at that camp in Scotland. I think I needed to be taken away from everything to finally see it and to finally hear clearly. And so just a quick follow up to that, I would volunteer at that camp every summer after that, and that was a really big. I learned a lot every single year I went, and then COVID happened, and so I stopped going. I moved there at one point. I lived there, and that was really good as well. It was good to just withdraw from everything. And I'm quite an outdoorsy person. I like the outdoors, and I'd love to have a job which makes me outdoors most of the time. And so that was quite good for that. But I had to move home afterwards, and so I haven't really got that connection anymore. But it is. I've said invaluable a lot, but it is invaluable. It is. Going outside and connecting with creation is key. We weren't created to live these cooped in lifestyles that we live these days, we definitely have become more and more urbanized as time has gone on, and so I think we've definitely lost that connection to to nature, to creation. I think we do need to push to get it back.
Thank you, absolutely. And I know we are always keeping these. I would like to keep these chats quite authentic. So we had a set of questions sort of asking you, but I like the process of how this has gone. But one of the things I like to ask people when I chat to them is, do you think that there is perhaps more that can be done? I'm not quite sure if you had any external mental health support. Like, so I had a lot myself as a service user. I was a service user undermined. I'm no longer a service user, so I really valued the support they gave me. And what I'm hoping to do is introduce some of the permaculture techniques into some of the strategies and therapies that they offer.
Yeah.
I wondered if you've got any experience of any external, like, mental health organisations that you may have had the benefits of using, and if there's anything that you could see perhaps from maybe an outdoorsy perspective that could benefit organisations that they could actually do, or just your general experiences about that at all.
Yeah. Well, I think the only sort of external help I've had is counselling, but yeah, it's a private practice as opposed to it's just my counsellor is one lady who does it. It's not, she's not like doesn't work for an organisation. Yeah, I think we do need to incorporate. I think every form of therapy needs a bit of work in this country. I think there's a lot of good work being done, but I think more needs to be done. We've got such a big focus nowadays on mental health, and there is a desire for improved techniques and improved organisations and reach, but we're not quite there yet when it comes to the actual delivery on it. So I think all forms of therapy need to be boosted. They need to be supported, I guess, actually is probably the better word. And so yes, I think any kind of therapy involving nature should definitely be supported. As for how to go about it, I'm not entirely sure. Mm-hmm. If I knew, I think I'd be going out there and doing something. I'd certainly like to, but I'd like to see it happen. Is my perspective, really.
Fantastic. Well, Josh, thank you very much for agreeing to talk with us today, and we really do wish you well. And thank you very much. I'd like to thank Josh for being with us today, and just thank you, really, and for sharing your story. And if you ever want to share again with us at any time, please feel free to do so.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. I'd like to thank Josh for sharing his story and the journey that he took towards recovery and where he is now. I found it an absolutely inspiring story, and I hope that you did too, and you found some comfort in his story. And I will be sharing the resources and some links in the details on our YouTube channel. So thank you very much for listening and watching. Please do subscribe to our channel and share. The more we share these stories and help to stop the stigma of talking about poor mental health, then stories like Josh's will be more acceptable, and we will be able to support each other towards a better mental health. Do take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.